Good afternoon, everybody, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here today and to have an opportunity to participate in the conference. As you can hear, I'm from the region, but unfortunately cannot deliver this presentation in the language, so I'll have to stick to English. And today, I will talk a little bit about how Visa sees the broader digital currency, blockchain, and crypto space. I'll talk about some of the key trends that are very interesting from our perspective. Then I'll follow up with some areas in which we are touching the space today as a network, and kind of some early product initiatives and kind of where do we see the future. So with no further ado, I'll start. So we see a number of key trends in the crypto space as Visa today, and I think the first one is really seeing crypto as an asset class. I've been covering crypto and digital currencies in various different forms in Visa in the last 5 years. And crypto has really shown an amazing ability to kind of reinvent itself and really has a strong resiliency. So we've seen a number of kind of bull and bear market cycles already. And in the previous one, which ended up with, I think, all-time market high of 3 trillion market capitalization, November 21, the adoption was driven primarily by retail investors. So that's me and you using our Visa credentials to purchase various kind of tokens at crypto exchanges or using crypto ramps to load them into self-custodial wallets. After a number of high-profile bankruptcies from centralized platforms and players like FTX, BlockFi, and others, we have seen that like a small disruption in the kind of overall positive trend, but more recently, the next wave of adoption was really brought by cornerstones of financial system that we know today. So players like BlackRock, Invesco, and others have started selling a product for institutional investors in form of exchange-traded funds, and now we have a next wave of adoption kind of driven by institutional investors who are starting to see crypto as an asset class to invest in and build. So really showing that crypto has a great resiliency and ability to reinvent itself. Secondly, we have seen a tremendous growth of stablecoins over the last kind of number of years. When I kind of started covering this stablecoins 5 years ago, stablecoins were primarily used specifically to kind of transfer funds between different crypto exchanges by sophisticated traders to take advantage of price discrepancies for a number of key assets. Today, with kind of faster blockchains, with expanded capabilities, we are starting to see adoption of stablecoins in very different use cases. For example, a lot of the companies are starting to use stablecoins as a way to transfer funds and kind of for cross-border money movement, where some of the existing financial infrastructure may be slow, it might be costly, and all that you need to kind of use stablecoins is effectively an interconnection in a device. Similarly, you're starting to see stablecoins used as a store of value in a number of different geographies and countries globally. There is about 80 or so countries with inflation rate over 10%, and having a store of value in a form of a kind of digital dollar is something which is gaining a lot of adoption. And having come from a country which experienced hyperinflation in the 90s, I'm sure that probably my parents would have preferred to hold stablecoins rather than kind of put Deutschmark banknotes under the cupboard. As well, we are seeing that stablecoins are also finding adoption in kind of various flows for settlement. And settlement here is defined as kind of final money movement between companies that are a certain set of contract, or in this case, kind of governed by code on the blockchain. And we are seeing that they're being used to kind of serve some of the corridors that today are maybe not as well served by the existing solutions, and they're finding adoption by innovative players who are looking to solve for some of the existing pain points in the system. Then we are seeing these new forms of tokenized real-world assets, which is an area where a lot of the financial institutions, i.e. banks, are starting to move in and kind of develop various products that they want to kind of innovate with and offer kind of new solutions across a number of different use cases. The first one is, and by the way, these are primarily today still products focused on their corporate investors or maybe kind of institutional investors rather than retail users. And we are starting to see that one of the kind of interesting areas is banks using blockchain solutions to kind of build new products where investors can purchase some of the products. We heard earlier about tokenized bonds issued by some of the financial institutions in Europe. And today, these are still, to a degree, somewhat closed loop or limited experiments, as banks are kind of waiting to see where the regulation will take this space. Similarly, a lot of the banking players are also looking at the practical aspect of payments on blockchain and finding kind of what would be the interesting ways in which they can utilize this prospect of the DLT technology to automate some of the existing processes and realize efficiencies. And we have seen a number of players who are looking to do that in Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and kind of other areas globally. And then finally, banks are also exploring ways in which potentially tokenized real-world assets and tokenized fiat can be used for some of the cross-border money movement solutions. It needs to be said that there are a lot of experiments there which are looking at how potentially blockchain technology can be used to facilitate funds transfer using wholesale CBDCs to kind of expedite and improve on the existing interbank settlement infrastructure. And then finally, blockchains are becoming faster and they've been improving steadily each year, both in terms of their throughput and capacity and ability to kind of handle kind of more complex operations at a speed and cost which make them comparable to, and kind of even, in some instances, even better than the existing solutions. And we are very excited to see that has been a lot of kind of new chains or kind of chains with higher throughput gaining market share and gaining traction and adoption from various players. And as well, there has been a steady and kind of increasing number of developers working in the blockchain and Web3 space, which lends to kind of having developers in the platform, lends to kind of evolution and kind of ability to build. And specifically, when it comes to public blockchains, you have the composability, ability to use somebody else's code to build kind of new and differentiated products while not having to go from the ground up yourself. And this is very important because it can shorten development cycles, usher kind of new wave of innovation, and also kind of make competition that much harder between existing players who then have to really differentiate themselves against the other competitors in the market. How do we look at this space? So at Visa, we work with all types of payment companies, including those who focus on crypto and digital currencies. And our kind of strategy when it comes to digital currency space has been and will be to act as a bridge between these exciting new platforms, technologies, and developers who are building on them, and our existing network of 14,500 plus financial institutions and over 130 million plus merchant locations, and a great representation of our network strategy. How do we do that? Today, like one of the main areas in which we work with the ecosystem is ability to provide what we are calling on and off ramps. On the on-ramp space, we're looking at you using your Visa credential to purchase an asset, any of the Web3 merchant category, whether you're buying Bitcoin at one of the exchanges, or you're buying an NFT marketplace, or using an on-ramp to put funds in one of the investment protocols. We are constantly looking to optimize this experience for our customers and make sure that they have a best-in-class user experience when they use Visa credential to try to purchase any of these assets, because this is the core of what we do. We're a platform which connects buyers and merchants. And in the same way, we also want to make sure that customers can use Visa products and Visa solutions to do what we are calling colloquially off-ramp, move from digital assets or crypto into fiat. And for example, a great representation of how we can do that is by issuing a Visa-linked credential that enables you as a user to kind of get greater utility from your holdings of USDC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other token, and then spend them in real time kind of anywhere a Visa card is accepted. And to date, we have seen almost 65 and kind of more of the leading crypto platforms who have decided to work with Visa in this space and issued or in the process of issuing kind of Visa-linked crypto credentials. Now, when it comes to product development, I want to highlight our work in a couple of different areas. I'd like to start with talking about the work we are doing on the digital currency space. We started experimenting here in 2021 and kind of working with Crypto.com and kind of helping them utilize in a limited pilot kind of opportunity to settle with Visa using USDC and Ethereum network. And we were one of the first payments network to experiment in this space. And moving forward, we extended this pilot to our acquiring principal members last year in 2023, with Wilpe and Nue kind of joining a set of early kind of pilot clients who are working with us in this space. And we also kind of, as we onboarded Wilpe and Nue, we also kind of extended our capabilities because blockchains today are, blockchain tokens run on many networks, and we expanded our settlement capabilities to Solana network as well. Why is this interesting to us? Well, we are seeing that there are potentially several areas in which this capability can help both issuing and kind of acquiring principal members of Visa. On the issuing side, having the ability to settle with us in digital currencies on blockchains can lead to a number of improvements in the existing process. The first one is to potentially help you lower your cost of settlement. And then, in addition, if and kind of when we proceed and try to do an experiment with a 7-day settlement, this could potentially lead to a reduction in collateral requirements, which can help a number of early fintechs who are looking to kind of build and grow their issuing portfolios. In the same way, we see that issuing has the ability to potentially reduce some of the frictions for crypto natives and also kind of fintechs who are looking to grow very fast across a number of different countries in different regions, because having the ability to kind of have one solution of settlement against Visa can really help them kind of grow faster and kind of don't get bogged down into expanding their operational requirements at that early stage. On the acquiring side, we are seeing that a number of kind of market-leading acquirers have been developing these capabilities independent of Visa. Players like Checkout.com have been doing 24 settlement in digital currencies for quite some time for their users. And we kind of see the potential here to enable these clients to receive digital currencies from Visa and further enhance their solutions to their merchants, potentially in some way in the future reducing their collateral. And also, there's a big area of opportunity to help the reduction of friction for crypto-native players and players who operate in the space who are already working with these assets and who will be looking forward to receiving these from the acquirers downstream in the settlement process. And this is not happening in isolation. You have also like market-leading players who are already developing their solutions, players like JP Morgan, as we heard from Vid earlier, who already, I think, settled roughly like 1 billion a day in kind of on their infrastructure. And definitely, it's a very competitive space that we believe will kind of only grow more congested in the coming years as more and more kind of solutions come to the market. We are also working very intensely with central banks and financial institutions on various central bank digital currencies and kind of digital currency projects worldwide. We spend time with more than 40 central bank on the various types of engagements and projects. And we see that blockchains have come a long way in the last 5 years. They're being seen more and more, not necessarily just as ledgers, but also as ways that as kind of new technology that can support various goals and objectives of kind of market makers and regulators in various countries. And we've been participating in some of these challenges, kind of helping shape the future narrative of money movement. So, for instance, we've been working closely with Brazilian Central Bank and participated in both the LIFT challenge and also in the kind of wholesale CBDC and tokenized deposit pilot, the DREX pilot of phase 2. In these instances, the kind of central bank is looking to develop an infrastructure where it can support money movement transactions between the banks and also lead to some type of improvements in operational efficiencies to ensure that the funds transfer can be settled almost instantly and kind of with the funds deployed in the most optimal way moving forward. Similarly, we have been working with Hong Kong Monetary Authority in 2 phases of the pilot. The first one in 2023, where we look to prove what are the potential advantages of using tokenized deposits and wholesale CBDCs across a range of use cases with Hang Seng and HSBC Bank. And we have seen that here, again, there is potential to use this technology to simplify some of the complex operations, like purchasing a real estate asset, or even for settlement between various kind of banking members of the community in Hong Kong. We have also, like last week, announced that we are working in phase 2 pilot, where again we'll be working with a couple of financial institutions to show a similar level of kind of innovation of what you can do with tokenized deposits, wholesale CBDCs, and the blockchain technology. As well, we kind of been working in Kazakhstan to launch a CBDC-linked card on digital tenge, another representation of how a Visa credential can help you get a higher utility of your digital assets. Now, what do we see as kind of interesting themes moving forward? I would say that first and foremost, blockchains are still an early technology. They have made leaps and bounds in the last few years, and I'm sure if we have the same conversation in 2 years' time, we will talk about 10 new use cases across all of these themes and topics. But to date, they haven't been really, let's say, battle-tested to support millions of transactions at the same level of kind of throughput and latency as the existing payment system. So the jury is still out at what level and to which extent they can actually support some of the existing kind of financial ecosystem requirements. And as well, I think there is a growing need to have a overarching regulation or aspects of regulation which can really help govern how this money movement between various players and money here defined as digital assets is governed, and what are the rules of engagement across maybe a couple of countries or a couple of regions. This will really help scale some of the existing solutions and also help entice maybe some of the existing banks who are not yet keen to experiment in the space, given the fact that there is some uncertainty about where the regulatory kind of discussion will go. As well, there's been a great improvements of UX and UI in the last couple of years. I know that, I'm sure as all of you during COVID have stayed at home. I stayed at home for sure, and because we were in a small flat, me and my wife were like constantly having calls, overhearing what each other is saying. And I remember one day she asked me like, hey, like how do I buy an NFT? So I started explaining to her, well, you need to like download a self-custody wallet, you need to like write this code down, then you need to type your card details here, it may not work every time, then you need to kind of get funds in and try to buy this, it may not work every time. And she told me that I'm making this deliberately hard for her. Whereas in fact, the UX UI just wasn't there. And it's kind of gone leaps and bounds. Some of the kind of most exciting projects and products now, they've been created by kind of ex-heads of product who were at leading fintechs like Revolut, Monzo, and others. And they're starting to look and feel like some of those neobanking applications. And as the blockchains have made a lot of progress in their kind of throughput, ability to handle transactions, complex functions, etc., we are starting to see some really cool projects come on board, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more in the next couple of years. In addition, I would say another important theme for us is to see kind of where the regional kind of ecosystems will go. And we are always very excited to kind of come and kind of learn more from the projects, which is one of the main reasons I kind of came today, and I'm looking forward to speak with a lot more people after this and kind of hear about what they're building. Because we want to make sure that as Visa, we are here at the right time, that we are learning from the projects themselves, kind of what are their pain points, what are they looking to achieve, what are the difficulties in working with networks such as ours, and how can we improve our existing products and services to kind of better service the market. And finally, like thinking about what the success looked like for 3 to 5 years, I would say from Visa's perspective, we kind of were founded as a network for, it's like the global kind of exchange of value with a lot of ambition, and we were actually the first company that I'm aware of which executed an airdrop, and it was an actual airdrop of airdropping the cards in a city in California to kind of generate kind of user activations. And we are keen to kind of, again, hear more from you, hear more about what people are building in the region, and also to see how we can help you. So that's all from me, and I want to open the floor for questions.
Thank you. I would just like to remind you to submit all your questions through the Slido app. The link is up there in the left corner of the screen. Thank you, Nikola. While we wait for the questions for a moment or two, I just want to say thank you for offering such a comprehensive overview of Visa's approach to making crypto more accessible and usable for everyone.
Thank you.
We have one question. Is there a better conference than Web3 Tales?
There isn't.
That's the right answer. Thank you. Okay, I think that... Oh, we have one more question. How is the project in Kazakhstan going so far?
Yes, so we are going to work with a couple of commercial banks in Kazakhstan as kind of the digital dengue gets deployed. And we are kind of excited to see where this project will go moving forward, but it seems like there is a executive banking from the regulator, the central bank, and the government to kind of push this through.
We have one more question. What were your motives to enroll with crypto in the first place?
Speculation and desire to make some money. Beyond that, actually, professionally, I was very excited to kind of learn about the technology kind of at a slightly kind of more broader aspect rather than trying to make money on the Bitcoin price. And actually learning that blockchains are effectively potentially net new rails that can be used for transferring value has been the aha moment for me and something that got me really excited and kind of drew me into the crypto/blockchain rabbit hole 5 years ago.
Thank you for sharing that.
No worries.
We have one more question, which is, can you say that Visa is helping solve the financial inclusion problem?
So I know that Visa has a number of different projects which are looking to support various initiatives, including ESG and financial inclusion. And these are kind of the some of the areas in which we are leaning in a number of different countries and regions.
And how do you comment still very low number of unique players on crypto market?
Very low number of unique players. I would actually challenge that. Depending on how you define the crypto market, I would say there is a vast variety of very unique players across, let's say, the business side, crypto exchanges, crypto RAMs. Then there's a number of different infrastructure providers. Then there are blockchain analytics firms. I personally see these as kind of very different players and very unique. And there's also very exciting NFT projects out there. So I actually disagree with that assertion.
If the author would like to further challenge, do it through the Slido app, please. While we wait for the author, the next question is the airdrop action that you mentioned.
Yes.
Did it reach targeted engagement?
Well, 60 years onwards, we are still here, so I would say that the initial airdrop worked.
How do you comment on the sustainability challenge of the whole blockchain technology?
That's a great question. I would say that there's been some tremendous improvements in the kind of ecosystem discussion, the sustainability discussion over the years. And as kind of new ways of computing transactions emerge on blockchains, I'm sure that there will be even more improvements to the existing solutions, which can hopefully support a full kind of transition to sustainable solutions.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Nikola. What's your favorite crypto project?
That's a difficult question. I would say Alice in Wonderland. No, I don't think I have a favorite project per se. I think I like to read about different themes. I would say the most interesting theme for me at the moment is seeing how some of the assets, like specifically stablecoins, are used as a bridging asset between kind of transferring funds both from on the consumer and a kind of business side. It's what's so called stablecoin sandwich or the crypto sandwich. And kind of there is a number of different projects in the space who are looking to solve this both for kind of individual users and for businesses.
How do you choose your markets for ongoing project? Is it mostly depending on the existing regulation?
That's a great question. So we are obviously engaging in a number of different markets globally. And of course, we are engaging in the markets where crypto is regulated and there is an ability for these companies to provide services to end users and adhering to existing sets of regulations.
We have one more question. What kind of improvements were made sustainability-wise? Now, I'm not entirely sure that improvements refer to what exactly, if the author can clarify.
Or I can find the author afterwards and have a conversation as well.
That can also be done. Anyways, I think we're almost out of time. Yes. Thank you so much, Nikola. And thanks also for all the amazing questions. Please, yes, thank you. Exactly. Round of applause.